The government of Bangladesh on Monday approved an ordinance empowering itself to fix energy prices without waiting for the decision of energy regulator Bangladesh Energy Regulatory Commission BERC. Briefing media about the cabinet meeting chaired by Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, Cabinet Secretary said that the amendment empowers the government to set fuel tariff on its own under special circumstances without waiting for the public hearing and decision by BERC. Till now, the government had to put the proposal for changing the fuel and electricity prices before the energy regulator BERC. The BERC used to review the proposal and conduct a public hearing on the government proposal, which could take up to 90 days. The amendment will allow the government to set the energy prices on an urgent basis if the situation demands. The Pentagon report warns that China now has more than 400 nuclear warheads, approximately doubling its nuclear arsenal in just 2 years. The Pentagon's annual China military power report to Congress was released. It said the Chinese armed forces has increased unsafe and unprofessional military behavior towards the United States and its allies in the region, especially Taiwan. According to the report, the pace of China's accelerating nuclear expansion may enable Beijing to field a stockpile of about 1,500 warheads by 2035. The Pentagon report was based on information about China's military capabilities that were collected through December 2021. However, it also accounted for some major events in 2022. Protests against China's strict COVID restrictions and continuous lockdowns have spread to many big cities, including capital Beijing and financial hub Shanghai. Hundreds of demonstrators gathered in the capital Beijing on Sunday night, and the protests continued in Shanghai for the second night over the weekend, shouting anti-government slogans and calling for an end to COVID lockdowns. China reported a fifth straight daily record of 40,347 new COVID 19 infections, of which 3,822 were symptomatic, the National Health Commission said on Monday. In an unprecedented display of solidarity to oppose the COVID restrictions, which has entered their third year, hundreds of demonstrators gathered in the heart of capital Beijing late at night, where all the embassies are located, and took part in the protest, held the black paper to express their discontent and acknowledge the censorship. Among anti-government slogans, including against President Xi, they called for release of protesters in Shanghai who were arrested earlier. After about 4 years of tussling between protesters and the Beijing police rounded up hundreds of them. Protesters in Shanghai again clashed with police last night as protests have flared and spread to several cities and universities, which started in response to the anger after a deadly fire killed 10 people in Xinjiang, apparently due to strict lockdowns. Reportedly, a BBC journalist was also assaulted and detained for several hours by Shanghai police during the coverage of the protest. New technology tracks the ball using 12 dedicated tracking cameras positioned below the stadium's roof and analyzes up to 29 data points for each player, 50 times per second, to determine their precise location on the field. All limbs and extremities that are important for determining offside are included in these 29 data points. The inclusion of an inertial measuring unit sensor into the match ball would add another crucial component in making close offside calls at the World Cup. Kick point may be identified with extreme precision thanks to this sensor, which is located in the center of the ball and feeds ball data to the video operation room 500 times per second. The innovative system automatically alerts the video match officials inside the video operation room whenever the ball is received by an attacker who was in an offside position when the ball was played by a teammate by merging the limb and ball tracking data and applying artificial intelligence. The video match officials then personally verify the automatically generated kick point and automatically generated offside line, which is based on the computed positions of the player's limb before advising the on-field referee of the proposed decision. With this new technique, offside decisions will be made more quickly and precisely, which will take a few seconds to complete. President of Sri Lanka Indian Society, Mr. Kishore Reddy, has said that Indian presidency of G20 is a great opportunity for the countries not represented in the forum. Speaking exclusively, Mr. Reddy was confident that India will safeguard the interest of countries like Sri Lanka also at the forum. Mr. Reddy said that the perception of India will widen because of the meetings at several locations that are lined up in the coming year. He added that Indian expertise in the IT sector will give a major boost to India's image globally. NATO allies promised to send equipment to restore Ukrainian power system which were knocked out by Russian missile strikes. The allies also assured to boost its air defense system capabilities of Ukraine. Foreign ministers from the NATO alliance, including US Secretary of State Antony Blinken, began a two-day meeting in Bucharest seeking to sustain Kyiv's military through a coming winter campaign. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky said that Russian forces were attempting to advance in multiple regions. Meanwhile, NATO chief Jens Stoltenberg also said that the military alliance expects more missile attacks on Ukraine. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said that 6 million Ukrainian households are still without power after massive missile strikes hit the country this week. In a video address, he said the capital and its surrounding region are among the worst affected areas, and many residents in the city have been without power for more than 20 hours. President Zelensky appealed to everyone to use appliances that use energy sparingly. Prime Minister said that despite the attacks, almost all of the country's critical infrastructures have been reconnected, including heat generation plants, hospitals, and emergency services. 7 vessels carrying agriculture products have left Ukraine's seaports under the Black Sea Grain Initiative. The Ukraine's infrastructure ministry has said that the ships, which departed from the ports in the southern Odisha region, will deliver 287,400 tons of goods to the countries in Russia. Since the grain initiative came into effect on August 1, Ukraine has exported 12.7 million tons of foodstuffs via its seaports. The ministry has also noted that the third ship entered the Odisha port for loading under a separate program, Grain from Ukraine. The vessel will deliver 25,000 tons of wheat to Somalia. The ministry said Ukraine plans to send more than 60 vessels with wheat to countries in need by May next year under Grain from Ukraine humanitarian program. The deal, which was due to expire on November 19, was extended last month for another 120 days. World Bank on Friday approved $250 million USD financing to help Bangladesh strengthen environment management and promote private sector participation in green investment. Successful implementation of the Bangladesh Environment Sustainability and Transformation Project will help the country tackle key pollution issues benefiting over 21 million people living in Greater Dhaka and beyond. The project will help construct 4 vehicle inspection centers using private public partnership modality to inspect about 46,000 vehicles annually. An e waste management facility will be set up to process 35,000 metric tons of e waste annually. The project will help reduce over 1 million metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions from targeted sources. The project will also set up a first ever network of 22 continuous surface water quality monitoring stations to start monitoring of water quality of Dhaka rivers and targeted international rivers in real time. It will also establish continuous water quality monitoring stations to ensure environmental compliance of selected industrial effluent treatment plants. This project will strengthen the country's environmental institutions to better control pollution and promote sustainable development. In Zambia, Energy Minister Peter Kapala said on December 2nd that government will start rationing electricity supply to domestic consumers from 15th of December following a big drop in water levels in Lake Kariba. Mr. Kapala told that the water levels in the lake have dropped to 4.1% of usable storage for the Kariba North Bank power station in Zambia and Kariba South Bank on the Zimbabwean side of the lake. He said the low water level situation in Lake Kariba threatens the power generation from both Kariba North Bank Hydropower Station and Kariba South Bank Hydropower Station. Water levels in the lake have fallen due to reduced inflows from the Zambezi River and its tributaries, and heavy use by power generation companies in Zambia and Zimbabwe. According to reports, hydropower contributes more than 75% of Zambia's power generation. According to scientists, the Shilush volcano in Russia's far eastern peninsula may be gearing up for its first powerful eruption in 15 years. United States on December 2nd designated China, Iran and Russia as countries of particular concern under the Religious Freedom Act over severe violations. The US Secretary of State Antony Blinken said that North Korea and Myanmar are also included in the list. Poland on December 2nd agreed to the European Union's deal for a $60 per barrel price cap on Russian seaborne oil. US President Joe Biden has said that he is looking forward to supporting his friend Prime Minister Narendra Modi during India's G20 presidency.